Tour de Pharmacy is an HBO-produced mockumentary on sports doping and tour cycling. The film features a massive cast including not only the WWE's John Cena, but a mix of big names such as Orlando Bloom, Jeff Goldblum, Kevin Bacon, Dolph Lundgren, Danny Glover, and sports stars such as Mike Tyson and Lance Armstrong. The film tells the story of a fictional 1982 Tour de France, which is famed for its controversy in that every single participant in the tour was doping. We get introduced to a series of colourful personalities on the tour. The story's main characters, though, are Italian cyclist Juju Pepe, played by Orlando Bloom, Slim Robinson, the first black professional cyclist, played by both Daveed Diggs and Danny Glover, Marty Haas, a quotation marks Nigerian cyclist, played by both Andy Samberg and Jeff Goldblum, Gustav Ditters, a muscle-bound Austrian cyclist played by both John Cena and Dolph Lundgren, and the French cyclist Adrien Baton, who is actually a woman masquerading as a man, played by both Freddie Highmore and Julia Ormond. The controversy begins in 1981 when a Finnish bank releases a popular credit card for its customers. Their biggest customer turns out to be Kevin Bacon's character, Dietmar Klöcken, a Finnish man who is president of the anti-doping agency that polices international cycling. To clear his massive credit card debt, Dietmar sends a letter to all 171 participants of the tour to send him $50,000 to avoid being dope tested in the following year's Tour de France. Dietmar's plan gets sprung in a hilarious press interview where he basically just blurts out that he bribed all of the competitors within seconds of the interview starting. As a result, all but 5 of the competitors are disqualified from the 1982 Tour de France. The 5 of course being Juju Pepe, Marty Haas, Gustav Ditters, Adrien Baton, and Slim Robinson. The tour recommences and straight away it's a farce. The 5 competitors agree to all take turns at the head of the pack so that others can draft behind him and conserve their energy. No one does this though, and the result is an incredibly slow race where no one wants to lead the pack. Public interest in the tour nosedives as a result. As the tour progresses very slowly, competitors begin to drop out of the tour for a variety of reasons. Gustav Ditters is accused of not being able to ride fast by the media. Enraged by this, the next day he cycles at an incredible pace. Suspicions get aroused and Ditters gets arrested for blood doping when police raid his hotel room late at night. Ditters had been infusing his blood with the blood of a cheetah. In the end, it's entirely unclear whether or not he was disqualified for being a cheater or a cheater. Slim Robinson drops out of the race after he's distracted by a beautiful farmer's daughter while cycling through the French countryside. Slim goes on to be the first ever black French dairy farmer, however. Juju Pepe bows out when his heart explodes in the middle of the race. This happened while he was also relieving himself while cycling. He cycled the last 12 kilometers or so while dead until his bike flew off the edge of a cliff. His autopsy revealed over 20 kinds of drugs in his system. The remaining Nigerian and French cyclists progress through the tour, but something strange happens. The more they race, the more they catch each other's eye. The pair fall in love and become sports' ever first openly homosexual couple, while simultaneously actually being a heterosexual couple. In a twist of events though, news gets through to touring BBC reporter Rex Honeycutt that because he has cycled all legs of the tour alongside the competitors, he is actually eligible to win the race. The 3 cyclists suddenly decide to make a break for the finish line in the final stages of the tour. A ridiculous battle of bicycle stunts ensues until Baton leaps off her bike and takes out Honeycutt in a crashing heap. Haas thinks he has the race all but won, but from out of nowhere comes the returning Slim Robinson to take the victory, and he becomes the first ever black entrant and winner of the Tour de France. Probably one of the funniest and most surprising parts of this film was Lance Armstrong's anonymous interview segments where he pops up throughout the film to give his thoughts on doping and cycling. You can say what you want about him, but you can't say he doesn't have a sense of humor about all of it. The film is completely littered with cameos. Among others, there are brief appearances by J.J. Abrams, Will Forte, and even Felicia Rashad of The Cosby Show. This is another strength of the film, as after a while you might find yourself anticipating who else is going to show up in this. If you're a fan of Andy Samberg's style of humor, then you'll enjoy this. Andy Samberg and his Lonely Island production house are primarily a sketch comedy team, and this is basically just a drawn-out sketch. Unlike some sketches though, they know when to cut it off, and at a 41-minute running time, it definitely doesn't overstay its welcome. The only negative? That it wasn't feature-length perhaps? After seeing the trailer for this, I actually thought that it was a feature-length movie, but as I said earlier, its runtime is definitely a positive also. Other than that, I honestly can't find much at fault with this. If you're looking for something to watch that won't eat too much of your time, is a good laugh and has a great cast, then Tour de Pharmacy is probably it. So here's one question for the wrestling fans. John Cena does a pretty good job in this short film. It's obvious that, like The Rock, he's trying to branch out into film these days. I'm of the opinion that he's a better, more versatile actor than The Rock though. What do you think? Is he the next Rock, or is he going to be something completely different? If so, what do you think that will be? Why not leave a comment and let us know?
How do you beat a man on drugs if you're not on drugs?
Wait, did you just admit to being on drugs?